Hello everybody, welcome into another lesson. So today we are going to talk about the standard form of a complex number, plotting numbers in the complex plane, and then doing simple addition and subtraction with complex numbers. So here you may see what is written as a plus bi. That is the standard form of a complex number, where a is some constant that's a real number. Then you have your bi, where b is the coefficient of the I term, which is the imaginary term. If you take a real and an imaginary number, add them together, you get what's called a complex number. And you can plot those in the complex plane. So going left to right, you have your real axis. Going from top to bottom, you have your imaginary axis. It looks very similar to a Cartesian coordinate system with an x and y axis. And it's kind of the same idea. Only this is the complex plane where you have a real and imaginary axis. So let's show you how we plot these. For example, let's say I have 4 plus 2i. So I have 4 plus 2i. I have that complex number. I have a real number of 4, then I have 2i, which is my complex number. To plot it, you're almost going to treat this like xy. You go in your real direction first, which would be plus 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have plus 2i, so I'll go up on the imaginary axis, so 1, 2. So it would almost be like plotting 4, 2, but instead of 4 comma 2, it's 4 plus 2i. So right here is 4 plus 2i. When you plot that, I went over 4 on the real axis and then up 2 on the imaginary. So that's 4 plus 2i right there. Alright, now I have negative 1 plus I. So I got negative 1 plus I. Well, my real number is negative 1, which would put me right here. Then plus I go up 1. So right there is going to be negative 1 plus I. Would be located right here in the second quadrant. All right. Now I have just negative 4i. I only have negative 4i. Well, what is that the same as in standard form? Which this is in standard form. You can also write this as 0 minus 4i. Because you have 0 on the real axis, but negative 4 on the imaginary. So if you just see the imaginary, you know you're going 0 places on the real, and I'm going down 4 on the imaginary, which would put me right there. That would give me negative 4i would be located right here. Almost like a y-intercept, but it's not because you're plotting in the complex plane. Alright, now on the flip side of that, what if I just have 3? What if I'm just given 3? Well, that would be the same as 3 plus 0i, which just the number 3 is considered in standard form because 0 times anything is 0. So this tells me I'm only going 3 on the real axis, which would put me right here and nowhere on the imaginary. So right there is the number 3 in the complex plane. Alright. Now I have negative 2 minus I. So what if I'm asked to plot negative 2 minus I? So it tells me I'm going to the left 2 on the real axis, which would be right here, and then down 1 on the imaginary axis. So right there I would find negative 2 minus I would be plotted right there in the third quadrant. Okay. Now I have something like 1 plus 5i. So I'm being asked to plot 1 plus 5i. Well, that means I go forward 1 in the real numbers and then up 5 in the imaginary, which would put me right here for 1 plus 5i. So this is very similar to plotting x and y coordinates, only it's in the complex system. So there's my 1 plus 5i. Got a couple more to plot and then we'll move on. How about 6 minus 3i? So I'm going to plot 6 minus 3i. So it tells me in the real direction I'm going positive 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the imaginary I'm going down 3, so 1, 2, 3. Which would be about right there. In the fourth quadrant, that would give me 6 minus 3i, would be plotted right there in the imaginaries. One more to plot. I'm going to plot negative 5 plus 4i. So let's plot negative 5 plus 4i. Well, it tells me I'm going left 5 in the real direction, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going up 4 in the imaginary, so 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be about right there. So right there would be my negative 5 plus 4i. It would be in the second quadrant of the complex plane. Negative 5 plus 4i. So that's how you can plot these in the complex plane. Now we can also do simple addition with these. We can do actually multiplication and division with them too, but those will be separate. Let's say I have something like 2 plus 3i plus I have 7 plus I. So just like real numbers, you can add complex numbers, but how do you do that? Well, you're going to treat the I like a variable. That's all you do. You treat the I like you would the variable x or any other variable. So add your real numbers. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus then, remember, this, since you're treating it like variables, you collect like terms. You add like terms. So then 3i plus I, that's going to give you 4i. So the number you should get would be 9 plus 4i. So you're just treating this like adding variables. What if I had, let's see, 6 plus 2i plus 5 minus I. So I have 6 plus 2i plus 5 minus I. I'm going to add those two complex numbers. So add my 6 and 5, since those are like terms, it'll be 11, and then 2i plus negative I, that'd be plus I. So it'll be 11 plus I. And to put the number in standard form, you always put your real number first, then plus your imaginary term. It's never the other way around. You always have your real number first, plus or minus your imaginary number. So that's the standard form. You always want to write the complex number in standard form. So we have 11 plus I for that. Let's see. We have negative 4 plus 7i plus negative 4 minus 7i. So we've been given negative 4 plus 7i plus negative 4 minus 7i. Well, add your like terms. Negative 4 plus negative 4 would give you negative 8. 7i, this would turn into minus 7i, that's 0. So you literally would just get negative 8. Another example of how imaginary numbers can have implications in the real number system. So you just get negative 8 for your answer. we have negative 1 minus I plus the quantity of 9 minus 3I. So there's those two complex numbers. So negative 1 minus I plus 9 minus 3I. So add your like terms. Negative 1 plus 9 is 8. Then negative I minus 3I, that'd be minus 4I. So the complex number that would result would be 8 minus 4I. All right, we have 8 plus 5I minus 1 plus 2I. So you can add and subtract, and in separate lessons you can even multiply and divide them. So again, we have these two complex numbers you're subtracting. Collect your like terms. So 8 minus 1 is 7. 5I minus 2I, that'd be plus 3I. So the resulting complex number you should get would be 7 plus 3I. All right. We're going to have 2 minus 6I minus negative 10 plus 4I. So we're going to subtract these two complex numbers. We have 2 minus 6I minus negative 10 plus 4I. So let's see, 2 minus negative 10 is 2 plus 10. That would give you 12. Then negative 6I minus 4I would give you minus 10I. So the complex number you should get would end up being 12 minus 10I. All right, 4 more. Negative 0.4 plus 0.9I minus negative 0.6 plus I. All right, so negative 0.4 plus 0.9I minus negative 0.6 plus I. So collect your like terms. Negative 0.4 minus 0.6, that turned into negative 0.4 plus 0.6 would give you 0.2. Then you have 0.9I minus I. Well, that'd be minus 0.1I. So the complex number you should get would be 0.2 minus 0.1I. So yes, we can have these with fractions and decimals. You'll have that sometimes. All right, let's see. You have 25 plus 15I minus 25 minus 6I. All right, so we have two complex numbers here, 25 plus 15I minus 25 minus 6I. So collect your like terms. 25 minus 25 is simply 0. We don't have to write that, but 15I minus 6I is 15I plus 6I. That would just give you 21I. And that would be considered in standard form. You just get 21I for your answer. I have 2 more. So we have negative I plus 8 minus 2I minus 5 minus 9i. Alright, so negative I plus 8 minus 2i minus 5 minus 9i. So we want to get the number in standard form, right? Even though I comes first, only consider your real numbers. Collect your like terms. So you have positive 8 minus 5, that would give you 3. Now you have negative I minus 2i is negative 3i. Minus 9i turns into negative 3i plus 9i. That would give you plus 6i. So the complex number you should get would end up being 3 plus 6i when you collect your like terms. And I got just one more. Alright, so we have 30 minus I minus 18 plus 6i plus 30i. Alright, so we have three complex numbers we're adding together here. So 30 minus I minus 18 plus 6i plus 30i. Well, we have to deal with our real numbers first. So take 30 minus 18. What would that give you? That would give you 12. Now you have negative I minus 6i would actually turn into negative 7i plus 30i. That would give you plus 23i. So the complex number you should get would be 12 plus 23i. So that's how you can add and subtract complex numbers. Next lesson we will multiply complex numbers, which will actually involve the cyclic nature of I, because you'll have I to the second and even higher. So I hope everyone has a good day. Take care.